Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to grecochess, a YouTube channel of chess. I'm your host, Harry Lasaniziris, and in this video, we continue facing the chess.com bots. And it's time now to face the bot Olga from the Ukraine. But let's first share the screen with you to show what's happening. You see here on the right half, the various bots. We started with the beginner bots, and after we went through them, time for the intermediate, and once we went through them for the advanced. And we've been through 14 out of the 20 advanced, and now Olga is number 15. And when I say we went through them, I mean we were finally able to defeat each one of them twice, once with white and once with black pieces. And now facing Olga, I'm having the white pieces, and if I'm able to defeat Olga with the white, the next video I'm facing Olga with the black. And let's start playing Olga. Olga says, I believe this is allo in Cyrillic characters that should mean hello. Ignore my first few moves, okay? Well, let's see, how can I ignore them? Pawn to e4, Olga. Fantastic move. Pawn to b6. I know this. It's called the Owen's defense. Yes, you see here, that's how they call it. The idea is, of course, to place the bishop on b7 and have fianchetto. I'm going to place my pawn on d4 to control the center with 2 pawns. And are you going to fit? No. I don't like this move, weakening this diagonal from h5 to e8. If only, I mean, I can place my queen, but then pawn goes to g6, and so what? I need to have my bishop on d3, ready if necessary to go to g6. And also protecting e4 in case you attacked it. If I could put e5 and then queen here, and if you take it bishop, that would be wonderful. But if I put e5, your pawn goes to f5. If I place my knight on f3, I'm blocking my queen if it won't go later, but let's place my pawn on c4 and postpone the dilemma, placing the knight on f3 or not. Queen to e7, opposite my king, not the best of ideas, but let's place my knight on f3 and prepare to castle to have my king opposite your queen. Ooh, we attack this pawn here. Fortunately, my knight is defending the pawn on d4, so now I can castle freely. King to f7, why? I need to start opening the game since Olga has not advanced very well. But let's place my rook opposite Olga's queen. Okay, I'm going to attack the knight. You'll take my book and my bishop go. Can it go to e2 and save my bishop because I want to attack your knight later? Let's place an f1 so the rook is still opposite the queen. Bishop goes here. What if I put my pawn on e5? Now Olga will be in a dilemma, take it or not. And bishop can land on g5. I really want to open the position. But I have to be careful. Queen should not land, knight should not land on c2 because it attacks my rook. I can check now, but I have to think how will Olga take. Let's take if I take the pawn on f6, knight comes out if Olga plays her knight. Let's attack the knight on b4 with my pawn on e3. What are you up to? The only safe square that you had, but your knight is out of the game. Uh, I think the best thing to do is, instead of taking pawns, to block Olga. Pawn goes to d6 and blocks the bishop on f8. I want. If I take it, if she takes it with a knight, my knight goes to g5 check, and it's very dangerous. If he takes to the pawn, can I place my bishop on d3 at threaten g6 if I can support it? When you take it with your queen, if you take with the queen, bishop goes to g5. If you take it to the pawn, clearly have much more space but no extra material, so I need to take advantage of this thing while I still have the space. Knight goes to h4 and bishop to g6. I think it is mate. Let's see if this is going to work. No, you block it. I've got plans inside my plans. Yes, now this cannot happen. And my knight is under attack. My knight goes back, but I weaken you even more. Now my knight can go to g5 with a check. The question is, and then what? My bishop can go here, attack the queen, and you cannot protect with your bishop because my pawn will take it. Let's bring my knight to c3. Do I have to reply to any threat? Let's bring my knight. Let's place more pieces in the party, as they say. Or you want to exchange bishops? Of course, you want to exchange. You're back in material. But also, okay, let's exchange. Queen to d2, so my knight can check on g5 if necessary. Ooh la la, the problem with that, I don't have the knight. Oh yeah, I should not have done it. Let's put at least the G file open. Let's place my rook here. Hopefully I can place another rook. Protect the pawn here. Things start becoming bad for me. You see why? Because my pawn on f3 is too weak. Protect the pawn on d6. Things don't go so well for me now. Queen is attacked. Okay, you want to take my b2 pawn. Rook to g1. Hopefully, I win the h4 pawn because attack twice, defend it once. I've had a rook. Exchange queens. Check on h7 and perhaps win the pawn on d7. Yes, nothing starts going my way. Pawn in b2 is under attack, but okay, let's take the b5 pawn. My king is a little bit weak. Where can I send my knight to be safe? Let's take the pawn on a7. Because you got it. Now I want... Oh, I'm attacking two of your knights. But then, if knight can go to d6, attack my rook, and my rook can do what? Look at double attack. Your knight will go to e5. Yes, my rook goes to e8. Where can I send my bishop to be safe? On f1, maybe. I'm still ahead in material, but my king is in danger. The f3 pawn is in danger. If bishop goes to g2, I think I'm safe. Ah, I have too much material. Now, the only thing I need to be careful is the pawn on the c file. If I'm not careful, it could promote. I want to grab the c pawn before it's too late. Yes, I got it. Yes, make sure don't. I'm ahead by one rook minus. Okay. Can I attack the knight on a6? Yes, and if the knight moves, let's save my knight. I have to be careful. I have an extra rook, but these three pawns can be very dangerous if I'm not careful. Send my knight here to e2. Let's save my rook as far away from the knight as possible. Now I have to be careful. I don't want any combination of rook and knight doing some kind of Arabian or Anastasianish or mates or whatever they call them. My knight goes to g3, attacks the pawn on f5. I wish I could check from here, but can I check from h5? Oh, yes, I can, but what if the king goes to g6? My rook can go to h8. I think it's safer to have my knight on f1, not just go for the check for the sake of it. If I'm not careful, things can become really very dangerous. Let's check from f8 and see what happens. Where will the king go? Now I'm attacking the pawn on g5. Believe it or not, if I'm not careful, it is mate. Rook f2 is mate if I do nothing. My king is blocked by too many things. If I take the pawn with my g1, it's not mate, but rook goes here, and then we have a discover check. If I go here, check. If king goes here, I have an extra knight. Yes, extra knight for one pawn. Let's try it and see if it works. I know what you're going to do. No, you didn't. But these 2 pawns are really very, very scary, to say the least. I don't want you to check from... What can I do now? Now, the problem is if you check and king goes to g1, then you take my rook on g5. I need to save this rook no matter what. If I check from here, king goes to e6, yes. Now, I know, pawn goes to e2. g6 check. Unfortunately, the game goes very poorly because if it goes here, it's mate. I think also Poland had such a great beginning. I was scared of the pawns and tried to win as many of them as possible. And I postponed the mate. They'll try to do is if it's possible, but I doubt the king will go to a place where the knight can check it and then win the queen. But what squares can they be? They can be these two. Any chance for a ladder mate? It would be a miracle if this thing could work. It's almost. If we go g7, king has go to the 8th. I doubt the king will go anywhere other than f8. I knew it. Now there's only one reply to this check, rook to g2. And unfortunately, the first game is tied of my enormous advantage. I'm sure I had a huge advantage, went down to 0. Let's briefly go through the review and see what happened. You see, I reached a part of 4.49 advantage. How did I lose it? I had two blunders. What were they? Let's see the biggest. The biggest, it says I was even and I went to g6. What should I have done? I should have placed my rook down. Okay, try again. Olga will try a second time. I was doing extremely well, and then you were able somehow to come back. Let's see if I can get the same advantage. And oh, pawn to h5. E4 is a fantastic move. H5 is not. Pawn to d4 now. Sometimes Magnus Carlsen does these things to show that even with poor openings, he can still win the games. But no, your next moves are fine. The h5 was a little bit crazy. Yes, you played your bishop on d7. Let's open the position. Okay, let's pin you. Your knight, queen takes, and after the king recovers, your rook is still pinned, and I'm taking your knight on b5. What will happen? I can take the pawn on a7, my rook goes to e8, and I'm in trouble. If I check from c7, what's the safest thing to do? King will not go here because then we exchange rooks, and still, where will my knight go? A8, no, the safest thing is send the knight back to c3 and keep your knight pinned on f6. How can I take advantage of the pin? I need to have a second piece attack, like which one? Where can my knight go to attack the knight here? Not too many squares. f5 would be nice. We can send my knight on f5. Bishop to d2. Oh, what would be the best thing for me to do? What if I take your knight? I double your pawn, but I open the position too much. Okay, let's double your pawns. So don't have to worry about my pawn on e4. Attack your bishop on d2. Knight to g3, hoping to go to 5. If I could place my rook on a, it's not so easy because you don't even know what to do now. I just wish I could put the rook on f2 and attack it twice, but then oh, oh, you're going to pin it. So let's put the king to h1 so there's no pin. Let's check to see what will happen if I check from here. Now you cannot put your bishop here because my knight will take it. Okay. Things start becoming crazy. Let's exchange the rooks to begin with, but now you are threatening with the back rank. I'm going to take your bishop and give my king an exit square if necessary. Where will you place your bishop? Attacks my pawn, but I'm not going to let you win my pawn. Let's put my pawns in light squares, most of them in light. So your bishop cannot grab them. If I check from here, what's going to happen? Almost nothing. Of course, the other pawn to c4. Advance my pawns as much as possible. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to win you h5 pawn. Here, yes, check. And I got it. The result of you doubling your pawns there. No, you're not going to win my rook. Where can I place? Place it here. Oh, no. I missed it. Checkmate. Second time. Let's try third. Okay, this just when I was so happy I won the h5 pawn. No luck. Let's try once again. It's going to be tough. The pawns are becoming tougher and tougher. And I become less and less careful. It's not the bots a problem. The problem is with me, not with the bots. Okay, you gambit your pawn. The pattern of Olga and the bots is in the beginning you give you huge advantage, and little by little they start coming back and winning all this advantage you were so glad to grab. I know. You check now with your queen. No, no, you didn't. So I'm going to try to save the pawn. And I know what you're going to do. You're not go to g4 or d7. Protect. No, I didn't. Do it here. Now I'm going to attack your queen. You can only defend it by, and if only my pawn was not pinned, I would have won. Let's unpin my pawn. Can I still take your knight? Let's see if I can win. No, at least I got an extra piece. Let's hope I can do. Let's see that. I think I'll end up an extra piece. Have an extra piece. Let's bring more people to the party. Let's put my knights on the D and E files, the crucial ones. I wish I could go to the 7th rank. Okay, my rook's on the open E file, and I have an extra piece. Will I keep it, and if so, for how long? Attacking your bishop. Still have back rank issues. I don't want to leave my rook from the first rank. Change rooks now that I'm ahead. Save my knight. Exchange rooks. Win the pawn on h7. Now I need to win this pawn before they promote. Control this diagonal so that hopefully the pawns will not do anything crazy. Try to win the g7 pawn. I got, but you're going to see what's happening. Pawn will go. Oh, we've passed pawns. I can see the danger coming. Problem is where to put my knight so I don't have double attack. I can see the danger. Okay, first of all, the pawn b2 is attacked, but then if the knight goes to d4, before when the bishop was here, I could place my knight on f3, have double check. Now I'd better be careful with my knight. Now I'm going to lose a pawn on b2, yes. And the pawn, let's start pushing my pawn. My pawns have not been pushed. Push my pawn while I still have time to do it. Because if I don't push my pawns, Olga will promote her pawns. I cannot win a wonderful. Just when I thought I was going to win the queen. Where can I put one of my pieces? Oh yeah, I push my pawn too far away. If it goes to g7, it's going to be grabbed. Can I put my knight on f7 and at least win the bishop? When we have the exchange. Yes, I don't think I could do anything better. Now let's start pushing the other pawns if I can. I'm 2 pieces ahead, but let's bring the king near. See what's happening. The b pawn will promote. Nope. Ay, ay, ay. My knight is too far away, and I don't have time to push any of my pawns. Okay. At least the b pawn cannot be pushed because of the pin. Look down the pawns. I have 2 extra pieces, but Olga is pushing her pawns. I'm going to lose it clearly. Thing is here, the pawn goes c2 and c1. Win one of the 3 pawns with a check. Can I win the b pawn? No. I'm going to lose my knight. Wonderful. 2 queens. Oh, with a check, I cannot even win the b pawn. My 2 pawns guarantee no stalemate. Yes, checkmate. Try once again. Every time I have a wonderful position, every time Olga comes back and promotes a pawns or checkmates me or who knows what. I think the third time I lost. Again, the always defense. Otherwise, I cannot castle because if Olga took my bishop, I would have to take it back with the king and then no castling. The queen on d4, d5, attack the rook. But any chance I can attack the rook on h8? That is not a good move, I have to tell everyone. I want to keep the queen on e7 and see if I can pin it with my rook against the king. Now I have a threat. If I take it and takes back, oh, that's why Olga put the other knight there. So now I place my queen, takes it. If I check here, if Olga takes the queen, I have a double. If Olga takes the king, I can also take with the knight. First of all, let's save our bishop. Does it work? If I place my bishop on g5, if Olga takes it, knight on f7, can Olga do anything else? Let's see if this is going to work. I'm running out of ideas. Can she attack my own queen or king? I don't think so. I'm up to this. What are you up to? Now I'm winning your queen. I hope so. Good. I have an enormous material advantage. Let's see if I can win from here or if you have other nasty tricks. Let's pin your... Not so easy. I thought I was pinning your knight. Pin your knight. Win the h7 pawn as a very minimum. See, my material difference is plus 12. It's enormous. Let's exchange whatever we can while we are still ahead. What is a threat? I don't like your threats on g2. Take whatever we can. No, plus 14. If we lose it from here, what can I say? But my queen has almost nowhere to go, if you see. Here the knight, here the rooks. Let's give another exit square for the queen if it's attacked. We c2, yes. My g2 square is very weak, to say the least. Let's have my knight safe for now. Queen to b3, at least it's safe here. I know rook will go to g6. No, it didn't. Good luck. I want to exchange rooks as a very minimum. No, I should, no, since I'm ahead, no, I'm not gambling with your knight. I'm going to, although it's an inferior exchange, I don't have to worry about any knight doing any crazy tricks. The queen check from g8. Queen check from f7. I think I win your rook on f6. I got it. Now I hope I don't lose from here. Okay. Attack your knight, your rook. I still have back rank issues. Be careful. No, I don't want to lose with the back rank when I'm so ahead in material. You'll go to a6, I'm sure, not to. Let's protect a pawn. Don't take my pawn f2, take it. I'm attacking your pawn on b6, I'm pinning it for now. I'm winning it. It's very tempting to change my queen for your rook. I'm not taking any chances with you, Olga. Is it stalemate or not? Before I play the move. If I take it, you can go to c3 and to c5, so it's not stalemate. Olga, I think I'm finally winning. No stalemate. At least I cannot lose the game from where it's now. Olga is trying stalemate tricks. Will they work? If my queen goes to a2, your king can go to d1. It's not stalemate. And that's mate. Finally, we defeated Olga, but after many games, game history. Let's see how many times did we need to defeat Olga. I think we lost 3 times and we defeated Olga the 4th time. When briefly the review, let's go briefly through all the reviews. We don't have time for everything we want. This is the second game that how did we lose? You see, I was ahead until here, had plus 2.11. And what is the mistake I made? Rook to g2. Why? Why should I have plus my rook? I should have placed on e2 because I deprived my king from the g2 square to escape. That is the second game. Let's see the third game. How did we lose it? When I was 2 pieces ahead, if I remember correctly, at the end. It's my mistakes. I don't have time, unfortunately, to do everything. You see, here was by 286. From here, everything started going downhill. It seems that Olga did also mistakes. So here you see, yes, my mistake is send the pawn to h7. Why? I'll explain what's the problem. I didn't see that the bishop b2 was covering h8. So what I should have done is push the pawn to g7, and then Olga, if Olga doesn't want to promote, has to sacrifice the bishop, and then my h6 go to g7 gets promoted. That was my big mistake. Otherwise, with the pawn on h7, it was impossible. And let's see the last and the happiest occasion that we won. How did we do? From the beginning until the end, it was win, win, win. Wonderful. Even though Olga had no blunders, no misses, 2 mistakes. And I played as if my rating was 2350 versus Olga 1450. So I hope we all learned our lessons from here. Be very careful with the pawns, especially when they're next to each other and they start being advanced. Always make sure to give a king escape squares. And persist with pieces and not quit. After 3 attempts, 3 losses, on the 4th attempt, we defeated Olga with the white pieces. Next opportunity, we're facing Olga with the black pieces. And after that, let's look at the bots. It's time for the 2000 bots. So here we are, advanced bots. We defeated Olga from the Ukraine with the white pieces. Next time it's going to be Olga with the black pieces. Let's see how can we do. But that's all for now. Thanks everybody for watching. The viewers, the subscribers, the likes and the comments. Have you faced the bots? How well have you done? This is grecochess YouTube channel. I'm your host, Harry Lasaniziris. To all of you, thanks for watching and goodbye.